Hi everyone, I'm here in Mexico live at the Neo-Shamanic Society live immersion. This is a deep dive for all the people on the deeper transformational arc with us, especially those that are stepping deeper into the transformational space, either for themselves or for service to others. This is all about deeper embodiment, but there's also a lot of healing skills that are taught here. One of the fast tracks, of course, to your own self-actualization is learning how to work the energetic field, knowing how the field is organized, knowing what information sits on what level of the field and how everything works itself. Because what I've uncovered is that when you work on the auric field, many things begin to shift, because as it's inside, so it is outside. So I thought I'm just going to take you on the inside. Some of the healers are just finishing off a new healing protocol, the Halaleo Core Karma Clearing Code and Protocol, which teaches them how to clear karma from people, unjustified negative karma that someone has endured for a while and is able to be taken off through this protocol. It clears just the right amount for the soul automatically. Let's pop inside and take a look. Here we go. This is live on the inside. Beautiful energy in the space. Let's go for a little walk around. Let's pop outside. Yeah, so that's the inside in the Neo-Shamanic live immersion, the Neo-Shamanic Society's live immersion. Very much a very deep dive. There's a lot of healing, there's a lot of process circles that are happening where people get into their deepest wounds. One of the things that we like to say is that depth outperforms technique every time. And there's a lot of, different things out there about learning how to manage a state through meditation, developing coherence through meditation. One of the issues with that is that it invites you into needing to do a daily practice into creating coherence, but it doesn't clear any of the deep wounds that pull you out of coherence moment to moment in life. So, your daily practice is important because it gets you into that state of coherence, but you want to live in that state, not just consciously competent, but unconsciously competent. The only way to live unconsciously competent is to clear your wounds. So here's how this works. At the surface level, when you get triggered, there's a lot of thoughts and feelings that come up, looping thoughts, crazy emotions that come up that change your perception of reality. You think it's true, but it's what you believe to be true, because still inside there's a wounding. And within that wounding is your deepest anchor. One of the things you might have heard me say before in life, you don't rise to the level of your highest activation, you rise to the level of your lowest anchor, which is the deepest core wound. And so what happens in life is you can have an experience that takes you at a high activation, but you're only going to settle your life back at the level of the lowest floor anchor, which is the wound. And so you will always resettle to the level of your lowest anchor. And that's why many people get stuck in life, just frustrated, trying to get more traction in their practice, in their business, in their life, in their relationships, but they can't, despite putting a lot of conscious competence and effort into techniques and processes. The reason why life keeps coming back the same is they haven't dealt with the core wound. Now, the core wound is usually pretty tough to access because you've spent your whole life literally avoiding it by creating these defensive mechanisms with heavy energetic layers which cover and move around the wound itself as a protection. That protection forms invisible energetic shields preventing any energy from coming into it. But here's the interesting thing about that core wound. simultaneously you are trying to avoid any frequency to get close to that core wound, but simultaneously, because it's a resonant signature inside of you, a unprocessed emotion, an unprocessed pain, you are constantly attracting the exact people to trigger that wound. That's why if you're still doing this work and you're still getting triggered by your parents or family members or partner, there's a wound there that's creating the trigger. So we have the thoughts and feelings, and underneath that we have a belief that you have formed about an unconscious agreement you have with yourself about how the world works. I can't trust men, I don't feel safe, I'm not safe in the world. All sorts, massive amounts of permutations and combinations of beliefs. Under that belief, what created the belief is an unmet need or a direct trauma. And so underneath that unmet need or direct trauma is the pain itself. That's what's been created, laid down usually in your childhood, but of course you get more traumas as you get older. And most people are still walking around with these today. I'm wondering why they can't move and burst through their life, because the only way you can do it is to feel and express out that trapped energy and emotion that's been there since often you're a child. And so here at the Neo-Shamanic Society, we're all about going down to the deepest core anchor and clearing the deep anchor. And this week is our live immersion week, where our students come together who have been studying with us for a year and practice the more depth techniques, but deep personal process where they actually shed those core wounds. Those core wounds get kind of cleared out, and so they all end up at a new frequency set point because the lowest anchor has been removed, and they move on. And then move on from there. So we teach a whole heap of different ways, techniques and strategies on how to deal with these core wounds that are often keeping us limited and capped. So it's a really exciting week for Alea and I, because we do a lot of different things in the world, but this week in particular is so powerful because people have been studying with us, several months or a year, and there's several people who have been with us for several years that keep coming back because of the transformation that happens there. So yeah, that's a little insight into the week. We're staying in a beautiful place called Mate. There's lovely domes that we get to sleep in. You can see there's a little dome up there. That's where Alea and I and the kids are staying. There's a lovely also cenote up here. Let me give you a little look at the swimming cenote. So essentially, yeah, that's what we've developed, the Neo-Shamanic Society. It's a multi-year journey, a 3-year journey to self-actualize, but especially potent for healers. We specialize in people in the transformational space, coaches and healers and others that are wanting to get into the transformational healing arts and work with them. So here's the little glimpse of the cenote, which is linked into the center. It's a beautiful color. Everyone's in there every day. Up there is the retreat place, dining room where we all eat together. Yeah, so it's been a fabulous week. It feels always such a privilege to do this deeper work. It's really real because we're all about embodiment. The real movement in life is not to try to take your consciousness up and connect to the higher planes. It's about bringing your higher consciousness down into your body and having your oversoul live in your body. To do that, you need to have a very coherent nervous system. The way to do that is to clear out the electrical charge in your nervous system, because that electrical charge is what's preventing the oversoul from dropping in. The oversoul, once that drops in, you're kind of operating from a different plane of experience and reality. Mother, Father, God has put a scroll in your oversoul, which is your function for holding a Christic civilizational blueprint together, because each single person within their oversoul holds a scroll, and that scroll holds the purpose of what God has imbued your oversoul with as an expression of divine will. Now, that comes online into your physical body once your oversoul lands fully in your body. And so the work of embodiment is so super important and necessary to live at your highest reality, because divine will wants to move through. It's all the resources, all the connections that people are all there waiting for you to be met. Your job is to get your oversoul in your body so that the scroll can come online, because it only activates and comes online as a broadcast signature once it lives inside your body. So all of the processes and techniques, but also the deep shadow work we take people through, allows that process to happen, and we teach others how to do that, how to get their clients oversoul embodied. So that's a little bit of an insight. What divine will, God has indeed decreed that the time of the synthetic matrix is over, and there's a bifurcation happening. Those who are sourced synthetically are going to move on and have one experience, having their consciousness hosted by the synthetic matrix, and those who are doing the deeper embodiment work has their oversoul more clear and organic, and they are going to have a different experience. And we're going to start to see the synthetic matrix falling apart pretty soon. Of course, we don't know exactly when, but all the world's systems that are built off the synthetic matrix are going to come to a crumbling halt at some point in the next couple of years, with all the oil crisis pending around and petrol running out, etc. Might happen sooner than we think. But yeah, you all know that already if you're following this channel and others like it. You know that there's a big reset going to happen. Your biggest task then is to remain coherent in the collapse. And if you can do that, you'll end up coming through really, really strong and being one of the leaders of what gets rebuilt after the collapse. So yeah, here we are at the Neo-Shamanic Society. Let me give you a round. It's a pretty cool dome. Let me show you that, how they're all kind of inside here. Just doing a bit of Q&A now by the sound of it, where they're taking some questions and answers from the 2 or 3 different techniques that we showed people. Let's do a little sharing from a fly on the wall from the outside. Yeah, it's all going on in there. Anyway, just a short little video from me today on all of that. In the meantime, I'm sending you all of my love from Mexico, and see you soon. We've got another root initiation coming up, and those of you that have been following along with this channel for a little bit, please get your crystals at the ready if you've been involved with the crystal golden grid we established first up through Iran and through the Golden Strat protocol. We'll be starting to prime you all about how you can get your crystals primed for these next vaults that are going to be opening. And vaults are those massive crystalline crystic source frequency field generators that have been locked since the fall. So it's been locked for, thousands of years, and these vaults are opening. Vault 000 in Wanaka's open, Vault 001 Ilion in Egypt open, and now we're going to open 3 through Montsegur and 2 in France, Montsegur and Lourdes in France, and Glastonbury in UK. And these vaults all linked into the true divine feminine current, not the false Shekinah and the false Catholic Church overlays that are going to get a little brushing off, and we can feel that true current once again. So anyway, that's enough from me. Neo-Shamanic Society Live Immersion. Go and check out the Neo-Shamanic Society if you're interested in learning and becoming more embodied. It's the pathway we've put together for people to be of service, and as this earth starts to rebuild itself. As we like to say, it's not about what you learn, it's about who you become.